And Liz, I wonder too about initiating those conversations. So if we have the data and the data says a child might feel comfortable talking to a teacher, as a parent, instead of being insulted and saying, "Wait, why isn't my kid coming to me?" What about giving some of the parents who are watching those tools to say, "Hey, these are those conversation starters," so your child feels that the parents are a safe space.
I think it's really important as parents that we open up the conversation and validate. And I think sometimes our children don't come to us because as parents, we want to fix things. We want to make it better. So we want to find some solutions, tell them they don't need to feel this way. You don't need to worry about that. You don't have to think about that. But kids are thinking about that and they are worrying about that. So opening up the conversation, but then really actively listening and validating and saying things like, that sounds really hard for you. I'm sorry that you're struggling. What can I do to help? But not coming up with these solutions or fixing, because we're all guilty of it. We want it when our kids hurt, we hurt, and that's the bottom line. And we do want to make it better for them, but listening and validating. And I think that's sometimes why kids will go to teachers because teachers are not emotionally connected to them. And teachers don't necessarily feel the need to make it better right away, but may offer different solutions or different ways of thinking about things that feel a little less emotionally charged.
And I know, Cara, part of the data point that you had done as part of that morning consult was taking a look at the family dynamics and the relationships really playing a part in that. 94%, of the respondents saying that was, the main factor in all of this.
Right. So the teachers really looked at family dynamics and stress of family as a high percentage of what kids were coming to them about. They also saw that kids were coming about their self-esteem, about bullying, and about social media. In contrast, what parents really think of when they think what stressing out or causing mental health disruption in their kids is more around academic pressure, is around self-esteem and fitting in, and around social dynamics. So teachers are seeing one thing, parents are seeing another. And the reality is we're all getting a piece of our kids in different settings. Right. And so how can we support them wherever they're at, in school and at home?
Liz, I wonder too about, sometimes I call it the high and low in my house. I'm not saying what I'm doing is right, but I try to say, like, what was the bright spot of your day and what was not so awesome? But I think, talking about some of those bad moments can help them maybe the next time that they're in there. So talk to me a little bit about understanding what your child's day is like and as a parent, how to help them in the future.
I think creating that open environment and the atmosphere of you can speak what's on your mind and there's not going to be judgment or criticism or any mocking, because siblings can play a nice big role in that. But really creating that environment and saying our home is a safe spot. We support each other. We build each other up. We don't break each other down, and really living to that and encouraging those conversations, whether it's at dinner with the highs and lows, which I personally love. And continuing to have these conversations. For me, where I find the most conversations are happening with my own children is in the car, because we're not looking at each other, where they'll text me, which sounds crazy because we're upstairs and downstairs and exchanging texts about what's going on, and just offering a lot of validation and comfort. I hear you. I understand you. I'm sorry that you're struggling. What can I do to help? Just a lot of that, as opposed to do this or do that, or I'm reaching out to your teacher, or don't think that, or don't feel that. I think is so important for our kids. And that's why they do go to other people in their world, which is fine, because our children can't have solely us. We can't be in every environment. So if they're going to their teachers, that's wonderful. They're going to their counselors, excellent. We just need to have, I feel like, that communication between home and school. So I can share with you what I'm seeing. You can tell me what you're seeing. And then we have the big picture, and there's all the support all around.
Cara, I wonder too about our college age students, because I know you're supposed to look for changes in behavior, things like, sleep or irritability, weight gain, or, changes in how they're eating. But then for a lot of students, when you go to college, all of that is like a normal thing that happens. So how do you know where your college age student who's now not at home, how they're really doing?
Oh, it's such an important question. And I'm a mother of a freshman in college, and she's miles and miles away. And so what is the normal behavior and what is behavior that we should really have concern about? So really understanding Thank goodness for FaceTime. So we can FaceTime and I can see, is she getting the sleep? Is she more irritable? Is she taking care of herself? Is she worrying more than she has been? Noticing and trying to step back to say, is this just part of college or is this something different? Is this something different? And really listening to that inner parent guide because they are going through a ton of changes. And so not overthinking, oh my gosh, it seems like she's always down or they're always down, but to really think about they're in transition, but is this something different?